Welcome. This is the May 11th, 2022 paper 2 CSEC mathematics paper. All right. In this playlist, we're going to do the paper. Now, the way I'm going to work through the paper, I'm going to take time and explain the workings. Remember, we're not in exam right now, so we have the luxury of time. We don't have to rush it, all right? Now remember, it's a past paper, so don't go and subconsciously think that the same questions are going to be coming up in your upcoming exam. All right? It's going to be different questions. The important thing is that you understand the principles behind working out these questions. All right? That's what is important. You will see in other playlists on this channel, in addition to other past papers, you will see the topics being explained, right? The principles, the concepts. Where I explain and record the concepts here. Now, remember, at each point, when you start a question or a part of a question, I ask you sometimes to pause the video and work it out. Whether or not I ask you, each time we come to a new question, I want you to pause the video and work out the question. Alright? And if when you watch what I do, I get an answer, I want you to work it again. If you didn't get that answer originally, work it again and try to get that answer. Of course, if you see me making any mistakes, you put it in the comment section to say what that was, that I made a mistake, and so on and so forth. Alright? Now, let's look at the paper here. This is a cover sheet with the registration number, your school center number, your name of school center. Right? You have to fill those out. You have a blank page here. Another blank page. Do not write on this page. Alright, then we have the instructions. Now you have 2 hours and 40 minutes. 2 hours and 40 minutes is what? That's 120 plus 40. That's 160 minutes. And you have 10 questions to answer. As here says, this paper consists of 2 sections, sections 1 and 2. Section 1 has 7 questions and section 2 has 3 questions. That's a total of 10 questions. Answer all questions. So you have an average of, say, 16 minutes per question, but you should take the time to read through the questions. Right? What you could do, say, take 10 minutes to read through the question. Read from the last question towards the first question, right? The thing is that when you see the question, there is some working out of the question in the back of your mind. Your brain is subconsciously working out and figuring out part of the questions. And the harder questions are the later questions, right? So you'd have seen that already. So when you go back to it, it will be a bit easier for you to deal with. So take some time to work out the question. You must write your answers in the spaces provided in this booklet. Do not write in the margins. Alright? Don't write anything in the margins of the booklet. All workings must be clearly shown. Now, don't leave anything out. And at the same time, show working. right? Even if you don't understand it fully, show a lot of working. The mark for working. A list of formula is provided on page 4 of this booklet. If you need to rewrite any answer and there is not enough space to do so on the original page, you must use the extra pages provided at the back of this booklet. Right? Remember to draw a line through your original answer, as if you leave it out, if you are omitting it. If you use the extra pages, you must write the question number clearly on the box provided at the top of the extra pages, and where relevant, include the question part beside the answer. The part A, part B, part 1A, and so on and so forth. The thing is, you need to write down which question you're answering. Right? Some students might tend to just answer a question and they don't even put which question they're answering or which part of the question they're answering. Whoever is marking, they don't have time to be searching, trying to find out, is it this question you're answering or that question you're answering, right? You have your answers, they should be organized, right? Don't give the marker a hard time because they have limited time, and if your work is messy and they can't find your answer, they'll just mark you down, right? Make your work neat so that somebody taking up your booklet can actually look at your work and figure out how to do the maths and say, yes, they learn. So make your work neat. Put which question you're answering, put what part of the question you're answering, and then you answer. Alright? Now, all diagrams in this booklet are not drawn to scale unless otherwise stated. So, you are allowed an electronic calculator and a geometry set. So you have your list of formulae. It's not all the formula that you have here, but you have many of them. Alright, let's look through the question, the paper now. You have the last part here. Instruction to invigilator, supervisor, sign the declaration below, detach the slip and hand it to the candidate. These are a receipt. This is your receipt. I acknowledge receipt of the candidate's booklet for the exam stated above. Invigilator sign and give it to you and put the date and give it to you. So you sign here. You fill out your information here. Full name, signature, date. Ensure that the slip is detached by the supervisor and invigilator and given to you when you hand in this booklet. Keep it in a safe place until you have received your result. Because if they say they haven't found any result and you have this, then you can show them to prove that you have indeed done the exam. Alright? Do not write on this page. Let's look at the last part. These are the extra papers for you to do extra work. But let's look at the last question. Question 10. It's a vector and matrices. You know that the later questions, things like the vector and matrices and transformation, the circle theorem, the completing the square of quadratic equations and so on, those give people the most problem. Alright? The hardest questions come under those. But don't be afraid of any question and deal with them and answer all the questions, right? And remember the time management. If you take 10 minutes to work out or to look through the questions, you would have 150 out of the 160 minutes left. So that leaves you with 15 minutes per question, right? And make sure you watch the clock. Don't let yourself run out of time. I have put on a video regarding time management in the exam. Ensure you watch that video. Search for it and watch it. I think I call it time management in the exam. Alright. The transformation matrix. This maps a rotation of 90 about anti-clockwise about the origin O, and another transformation matrix B. This represents a reflection in the line with equation y equal negative x, right? The coordinates of P prime, where P was originally at 710 after it undergoes rotation of 90 degree anti-clockwise about the origin, and so on. These are combined transformations. So you're going to transform, to combine the transformations, you're going to multiply the matrices like you're going to multiply the matrices to combine them. Describe geometrically the transformation represented by T. Okay, nice. When you combine them, you're going to describe that geometrically. 2 by 2 matrix is defined by this, and you have a scalar constant k. Determine the value of k to make the matrix singular. You should remember what a singular matrix is. It's one with the determinant 0. And you remember your matrices, how to work it out. In the diagram below, you have O, origin. This is a vector question. OX and OY and so on and so forth. Express BX in terms of U and V. So BX, okay. You have to remember your vectors for this one. Alright. Using a vector method, show that this ratio is 1 to 3. Show all working. That's question 10. Let's see what question 9 says. Where is question 9? Okay, circle theorem. You have these, all of these, and you explain giving reasons why angle this is 38. Okay. Usually they ask you to find the angle, but here they show you what the angle is and you must explain the reason. And the reason why MLK is 90 degrees. Okay. So MLK, the reason why it is 90 degrees. Okay. Determine the value of each of the following angles showing detailed working where appropriate. MLJ, LJ, you have MLJ, ML, where is J? Okay, this, you have LJK, LJK, where is J? Oh, yeah, LJK. You have to find those angles, and JHM, JHM, okay. And then you have a bearings question. Alright, so you have to remember your bearings. We'll go through that. That's question 9. What about question 8? Question 8 says you have a rental company, X cars, Y minivans, 8 vehicles altogether. The number of minivan is less than equal to the number of cars. Number of cars is no more than 9. Alright. Linear programming. We're going to write the inequalities. And then show that this, from this description, this is the inequality here. And you plot the line on this graph sheet. Minimum number of cars. So here, the minimum or maximum will occur at the vertices of the polygon that you plot. So you examine the points at the vertices, and the company charges 75 to rent a car and 90 to rent a minivan. Show that the minimum is 990. Okay, you're going to show all of that. That's question 8. What about question 7? What does question 7 say? Okay, patterns. entertainment hall. You have tables and chairs. You say draw a table, draw the diagram for 4 tables. You have 1 table, 2 tables, 3 tables. Alright. Arrangement L. Why didn't they put this as a arrangement L, the second one? Because you could say it's a long table. L for long, but I guess that's what they do. L is this one at the top, M is this one at the bottom. Number of chairs and tables and so on. You're going to fill this out. When we come to it, it looks like a nice question to work out. Right? We're going to have a lot of fun working that out. What about question 6? It's a measurement question. What they ask for? The total surface area. Another interesting question here. Total volume of the solid. And then you have mass. 1 cubic centimeter. So this is density. Mass per cubic centimeter. Calculate the cost of gold. Okay. Nice question there. Question 5. Okay, this looks like some sort of... Alright, this falls under statistics. And this is some sort of table. Frequency table. You have midpoint, number of students, F times X, height in centimeters. Okay. So you have to fill the missing part out. And calculate the mean height and so on and so forth here. Okay. And then here now, cumulative frequency. Going to plot the cumulative frequency curve. Draw the cumulative frequency curve. And then the probability of a student being chosen at random is taller than 130 centimeters. Okay, they started plotting the cumulative frequency curve for you. So you're going to have to finish it off. Alright, so that's question 5. What does question 4 say? Question 4. Functions and relations. You have 2 functions here. G of 1/3 F inverse. You're going to have to do inverse functions too. F inverse of -3. You have line. So this is functions and graph. You have a line here. Y equal mx plus c, linear graph. And then write down the coordinates of the point, or Q. Alright, different line Q. Okay. And then you have the grid, graph paper there. Complete the statements. Okay, so we have to have this line. You have a different line Q. So you can see what the equation of line Q is. So you can tell the gradient is -2, the y-intercept is 8. So you could plot that as well. Okay, so that's question 4. What about question 3? Question 3, patterns. So you have the square grid. So it's patterns on a grid. Determine fully the single transformation that maps P onto shape Q and also onto R and S. So Q onto P, Q onto R, Q onto S. Alright. We're going to look at the transformations that maps one onto the other. Alright. And it seems like you're going to describe it in words, right? You're going to write them down in words. Q onto P, Q onto R, and then Q onto S. Okay, I'm going to describe those in words. And then it says, on the grid provided, draw the image of P after a translation in the vector. So a translation is a slide. So this will slide the vector 2 units to the left, 3 units up. And you see what happens there. Alright, so that's question 2, question 1 now. Using a calculator otherwise. So fraction, calculator, decimal right to 2 decimal places. Then you have this part. Okay, bananas cost that how much kilogram, that per kilogram, and you have 25 kilogram, and then a discount. Some amount of consumer arithmetic is combined here, and then you have the money including tax. I calculate the original price, which will be billed for tax, and then the ratio of banana to oranges. Alright, so here we're going to start looking at working out these questions in our next video. But remember, you have the formula sheet here, the instructions, and the time limit. Many persons fail the exam because they waste time on a question that they can't do, or other question that they could do or waiting on them. So time yourself properly, right? Give yourself 15 minutes per question while you watch the clock. You could also give yourself 10 minutes per question and leave out what you didn't do and come back to them later. But look at the video on time management in exam, which I recorded. So here again, all working must be clearly shown. Don't write in the margins. Right? Do not write in the margins of the paper. You write under the questions. Alright? So there you have. There you are now. So we look forward to starting this paper.